Absolute value. The definition of an absolute value is the distance from 0. The absolute value of 2 is 2, and the absolute value of -2 is also 2. Really, truly what it is, what's inside that parentheses becomes positive once it's one number. Now let me show you why. So if here's 0 and here's -2, if I was to count from -2 to get to 0, it's a distance of 2. The negative is just a direction. Same thing, +2. From +2 to get to 0, it's also a distance of 2. All right, to solve an absolute value equation, we're going to actually have two equations, because this solution can equal the positive and that solution can equal the negative. Once absolute value is isolated, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take what's inside the absolute value and set it equal to the positive answer, or we're going to take what's inside the absolute value and set it equal to the negative answer. Now all we have to do is solve. So we'll solve each one. I'm going to add 1 to both sides. So 2x equals 6. Then I'm going to divide by 2, and x equals 3. There's one solution. I'm going to add 1 to both sides. So I have 2x equals -4. Divide both sides by 2, and x equals -2. So what's boxed is my answer. I can prove that answer. If I plug in 4x, a 3. So this is 6 minus 1 in absolute values, and the absolute value of 5 is 5. So therefore, that's true. If I do the same thing, and I plug in a -2, let's see what happens. -4 minus 1, does that equal 5? Well, -5 equals 5, and the absolute value of -5 is 5, therefore that is true. So it didn't matter if we plugged in a 3 or the -2. Let's try one more. This time what I want you to notice is that the absolute value is not isolated. I cannot set up two equations until it is. So let's start by adding 1 to both sides. So I have x plus 2 equals 1. And don't forget the 3 in the front. I'm actually going to change this problem just a tad. Let's make that an 8. Just for this purpose, I'm going to show you with whole numbers. Now, if it was a fraction, no big deal. We can still do it as well. So 8 plus 1, we're going to say that's 9. The next step is to divide both sides by 3. So I have the absolute value of x plus 2 equals 3. Now I'm going to set up two equations. The first equation, I'm going to take what's in the absolute value and set it equal to the positive. Or I'm going to take what's in the absolute value and set it equal to the negative. Now all we have to do is solve. I'm going to subtract 2 to both sides, and x equals 1. I'm going to subtract 2 to both sides, and x equals -5. With absolute value equations, you're going to have two solutions.